What is up, gamers? Welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. And today I have another brand new dev update for you guys. And as you can tell, I got a new headset here, so bear with me. I'm sure this is going to sound a lot different trying out this mic here. And hopefully I'll be able to get this mic sounding good. But also, I've been a bit under the weather, came down with the flu, but I am getting better, but might sound a little more nasally. So please forgive me, bear with me as I get this figured out, and hopefully the next one will be back to normal. So this dev update is going over some units and unit stats, and so I'll leave a link to this page, this Reddit post, in the description down below. So if you'd like to check this out for yourself and leave them some feedback, I'm sure they would very much appreciate that. And then also, I've done update videos for most of their Reddit posts that they've made so far. And so if you would like to take a look at those and get caught up on all of those, I have a playlist that I'll link up here, and you can check that out if you like. And then finally, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And if you could also leave a comment, that'd be very much appreciated. Anyways, let's jump into this dev update here and see what they have to say. It says, we wanted to get your thoughts on some unit changes we've been exploring. We've also been iterating on how to best show unit stats, so I will include some screenshots of the detailed stats so that we can hear your thoughts and feedback on those too. Tier 1 matter-only units. We've been doing some passes to better differentiate each of these units. Recall got their stronger version of Recall back. Gunbots attack faster now, but still get one shot by most splash. And Scorpions have higher health, and etc. And here it looks like we got a screenshot of the gunbot, and they have the detailed stats button here. Looks like tied to F1 currently, and gives you some of their detailed stats. I really like that. I think that looks good. Interestingly enough here, this gunbot in particular at least, is yellow. So that's a little different. I wonder if this is just like a skin for the gunbot. Maybe they have different colors available now for the units or something. I don't know, but that's cool. Pretty interesting. So this says Gunbot is a good example of many units in the game that just have basic stats and no damage modifiers. Yeah, that's a good point. Some of their units now are going to have different unit modifiers depending on what they're going up against and whatnot. So some units will have a unit modifier against big or anti-big units or something. That'll just more or less adjust their damage numbers positively or negatively to do more or less damage. So that'll just depend on the matchup. But there will be, as they say here, quite a few units that don't have any kind of modifiers to them. Something like the gunbot here is going to be a little more simple and easy to read and understand. This was something that a lot of people were really wanting, myself included, is to have all these stats available in-game for us to be able to look at. So I think that's good. Next up, we have the Beetle. We've been trying a version of the Beetle where they only do more damage against air units that are also small. And currently, all air units that are not big are small. So of the Tier 1 anti-air unit choices, they would be the strongest in a direct combat against, say, like Falcons or Dragonflies. But they would be hard countered by big air units such as the Catbus. Whereas most other Tier 1 anti-air units are more all-around and have their other unique traits, like the Hornets, move, reinforce the fastest, recall hunters can recall back to any base, etc. So I like that they are experimenting with this. I would like to see some more of this throughout all the different Tier 1 units that they have. I would like to see even more variety and versatility between all the different Tier 1 units. I think they've done a very good job so far of the Tier 1 units. The biggest difference right now is kind of in the way that each of the units moves, and whether or not they have an ability attached to them or something. And so I think giving them differences, even more differences in their damages and in their damage types and what they're effective against and whatnot is going to make the game overall more interesting as well. So I think this is a great idea, and hopefully it'll give a strong use case for the Beetle. And so you can see we have the screenshot here then of the Beetle. It says Beetle deals 400 damage against air units that are also small, and 80 damage against everything else. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. That seems like quite a lot, but we'll have to kind of just wait and see how that all plays out and whatnot. All right, and then we have the recall ability. for the recalls here. We've reverted the delay before recalling out back to how they were in CBT1, 1.2 seconds. The main reason was this ability just didn't feel as good for players to use, and the CBT2 showed the recall units in general were on the weaker side compared to other Tier 1 options. So that's interesting. They're reverting the change back to the way it was. I'm surprised they didn't kind of like just mess around with the timing on it a little bit more. Because I do think in CBT1, the recalls were pretty strong. Um, and it's one of those units that's just easier for most people to use, and so they are pretty strong as well. And so most people kind of default to the recalls. Especially someone like myself who's not quite as good at the game. It's just a strong, easy option to use. So I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I hope they continue to tweak things a little bit. Next, the Raider. We removed the unit for now due to attacking workers being a bit too one-dimensional of a role. They do visually look cool and unique, so we are hoping to redesign the unit in the future. Yeah, I had to agree with this. The Raider, while it does seem to be like a cool unit, in practice, I definitely agree. It's just way too one-dimensional. Then we have the flak turret. We want to create more defensive playstyles with turrets, and while we saw some cool games using them, our takeaway from the last beta test was that they're not quite there yet. We've been trying out different versions, but here's where they're at now. TLDR is that turrets are very all-around on the defense against all ground units, but they don't shoot air. Flak turrets shoot ground now too, but they're really built to counter all air units well on the defense. They deal single target damage now instead of splash. So I believe that's reference to the turrets. Now I think they're saying the turrets deal single target damage now instead of splash. And then main reason for this was we wanted to make sure they're more all around than before. And big units just attack moving into multiple turrets was a bit too easy of a counter to them. Also, they're big units now. This just made sense due to their size and how similar they are compared to buildings. We did notice that they were countering anti-big units, so turrets now have a damage penalty against them. I actually enjoyed the turrets quite a lot from the last closed beta test. I wasn't as big a fan of the flak turret, but the turret I found pretty fun and useful. I didn't think it was really all that problematic or anything. I think it had its place. I think it had its uses. But I definitely don't think it was too strong or too weak or anything like that. So I thought it was in a good spot. But I'm willing to see what these changes end up doing for the turret. Some interesting changes. So I'm definitely interested to try that out again and see how it does. Turrets normally deal 1,200 damage, but against anti-big units, they deal 600 damage. Okay. Then here's the flak turret. Flak turret deals 400 damage to ground anti-big units and air anti-big units. They deal 3,200 damage against all other air units. Against everything else, deals 800 damage. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so I'll definitely want to try out the flak turret again and see if I can make it work in the second closed beta test. I just didn't feel like I could get the flak turret to work. The regular turret was just fine for me, but the flak turret, I just had a lot of trouble with it. So hopefully this change makes it a little bit better for me. We'll have to see if that's a big enough improvement. And then finally, damage modifiers on detailed unit stats. Hopefully, the unit stats screenshots were straightforward, but wanted to talk a bit about how the damage modifiers work. Many units, like the gunbot, just have damage without any modified damage listed below. These are the most straightforward. The listed damage amount is how much damage they deal. Turret is an example of a unit that has one damage modifier against anti-big right now. So against all units that have the anti-big label, such as destroyers or advanced blinks, they will deal 600 damage, and against any other unit, they will deal 1,200 damage. Flak turret is one of the exception cases in the game right now with so many damage modifiers, but they work the same way. For example, a butterfly has air and anti-big labels, so it takes 400 damage, whereas a dragonfly has the air label, so it takes 3,200 damage. Thank you so much as always, and we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts. So I think that's great. I understand they think this might be a bit confusing, especially once they add in all the different damage modifiers. And I can definitely agree with that to some extent. It definitely can be a little bit confusing, even for myself. But I think it's worth it. I think that's fine. I think most players, if they're more on the super casual side, they're not even going to really bother looking at the detailed stats. I don't think that'll matter to them too much, and so they won't bother looking at it. And so then they won't be confused potentially by it. So I don't think it'll be that big a deal. And then for those of us who really do want to look at all that and get a better understanding of how the game works and the nitty gritty details of all the damages and everything, I think that's going to be useful and beneficial to us, and we'll kind of be able to sort through it and make sense of it at least eventually. As we kind of pour over all the numbers, we'll kind of eventually get the hang of it, no matter how complicated you might think it is. So that I think is going to do it for me today. I am super happy to see more information about battleaces, and I can't wait for it to come back. I'm really hoping they will give us another taste of the game soon, even if it was just like a single weekend. 3-day weekend or something of being able to play the game would be nice, just to kind of whet our appetite for a little bit. So hopefully they'll bring the game back soon for more gameplay. But anyway, that'll do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you could also leave a comment, I'd very much appreciate that. Thank you all again so much for watching. I'll see you again soon in the next one.